Hello and welcome. My name is Vukile. We are going to start on the series on intervals. Just check out the introduction that I will upload there. It has the theory part of it. So we're going to start on the fretboard right now. And the first thing that you want to do when you're dealing with intervals is to choose a root note or the tonic. The tonic or the root. Let us in this lesson call it the root. So this is the root here. My root is G. So today we're going to study one of the simple intervals. So just to introduction to do an introduction here. There are simple intervals which are between 1 and 8, and they are either half or whole numbers, or whole number plus half. And there are compound intervals which are above the 8th, and there are super intervals which are above the 15th, and also there are intervals that are between these two notes here. They are below half of a tone or half of a fret, if you like. Here, this is 1 fret. So they're called sub-intervals. I call them sub-intervals. And those intervals that are above 2 octaves, which is the 15th, I call them super intervals. Okay. Those are playable. All those that I've just mentioned are playable, but in different contexts. But today I'm going to do a simple intervals. I'm just going to describe them first, and then we move on to the very first interval. So I'm going to choose a key. My key is G, right here on the first string. Now, if you go to the next G that you have on this fret, on this string, it's right here. So these two, 1 and 2. So this one here is an octave below this G here. So the formula that we're going to use all the time to do these intervals is called the major scale formula. And the major scale formula, if you are to do this, is just the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 8th note, we're going to call it 8 instead of 1 again, 8. So here is the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's 1 octave. This is 1 octave here, from here to here. Now let's name the intervals. I'm gonna name the intervals. First we're gonna name so this is 1 and this is 2. And the one behind it is called a minor second. So this is a second and a minor second. And this one here is called a minor third. This is a major third. Now this minor third is called a minor third depending on most scales that you get. Otherwise it can be a sharp 2, which is an augmented second. This one here, depending on the scale. So we're going to examine scales with different types of things. Now, so this is a major third. This is a perfect fourth. So another type of interval is called a perfect intervals. We have perfect intervals. So the 1 is a perfect, and the 4th is a perfect. Then the next one is an augmented 4th or a diminished 5th, and then we go to a perfect 5th, another perfect interval here, perfect 5th. This one is also called a diminished 5th. Now we go to the next one, which is this one. You can call it an augmented 5th or a minor 6. You see, this is a 6th here, major 6, and this is a minor 6 or augmented 5th. And then we go to here. This is a minor 7, and this one is a major 7, and this one is an 8. Now the names of whether it's called augmented or diminished is actually found in the scale that you are dealing with. Okay, and we will deal with that as we deal with different scales, but for this particular lesson, these are the intervals. Now the intervals above this are called, I've said they're called compound intervals. They're above this first octave. Now let me take you a little bit back. So just to recap before I go to the next one, it's one or a unison, second, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seven, and a perfect octave. So perfects are 1, 4, 5, and 8, and majors are 2, 3, and 6. Okay, so this is my first lesson for this one. Now let's go to this. We want to spread this over 2 octaves. Now an octave, let's take this G here, which is on the lower thing. You just correct this one here. So this is my G, and if you do a do re mi fa sol la ti do, so this is 1 octave. So that's an octave there. If you go on another, sorry, do re mi fa sol la ti do, that's another octave. And then you do another do re mi fa sol la ti do, that's a 3rd octave there. So you have 3 octaves. So with respect to this one here, this note here, any note that appears in the 2nd octave is called a compound interval. And with respect to that again, any note that appears beyond this one, like between this G and that G, is called a super interval. And you also have a super which appears between the reference to this note here. So an interval, the definition of an interval is it's the distance between 2 notes. It's called an interval. Okay, so this is some kind of an intro. We'll go into the next video where we talk about the first interval. So let me recap here. This is from this G here to this G here. We got 1, or the root, minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth or diminished fifth, perfect fifth, augmented fifth or minor sixth, and also major sixth, minor 7, major 7, eighth. Now let me tell you something about this 6th here. There are scales where the 7th has been diminished twice, it has been flatted twice, double flat 7, and you still have other 6 notes down here. If your major 7 flatted and flatted again, this one double flat is called a diminished 7, double flat 7, diminished 7th. Okay, thank you very much for watching this lesson. My name is Vukile. I'll meet you in the next lesson where we talk about unisons. Cheers, bye.